This is Hanging with Hayes, the podcast where real life takes center stage. I'm your host, Chelsea, wife, virtual assistant, photographer, dog mom, and entrepreneur. Join me as I dive into the everyday experiences that shape our lives, relationships, and everything in between. Remember, these are my personal opinions, so take them with a grain of salt. Get ready for candid conversations and genuine insights. Welcome to Hanging with Hayes. Thanks for coming on my podcast.
No problem. Happy to be here. Happy to return the favor.
Yes, this is Ike. I was on his podcast. He is an entrepreneur in his own way and a construction guy, and he has come a long way, and he has his own construction podcast, and I wanted him on my podcast because we had so much fun on his podcast. So we're just going to yap today.
That's exactly what we're going to do. Would you like me to give you a little resume real quick?
Yes, please.
So when it comes to entrepreneur, a bit of an entrepreneur, really what that's about is mentorship. I try to give people mentorship to come into the trades, come into what I do, which is now construction management, and maybe get them on the same path that I was on, but a faster track so they didn't have to learn all the things that I had to learn. I started 21 years ago. I was a young kid, started digging holes, sweeping floors, scrubbing toilets on job sites, pretty much the nastiest and lowest stuff that you could possibly do. I went from that to being to working my way up, into the shop, doing miscellaneous stuff. Got an opportunity to draft some sheet metal. Ended up going to college to get a degree in mechanical engineering. Did that. Decided I'm not an engineering type. I'm not an office guy type. Then I got an opportunity on the builder's side as a general contractor. So I've been everything from a laborer to a super to project manager, project executive, and now I'm a director at one of the largest GCs in the country. And basically, my clients are like the Fortune 500 clients. So I travel a lot all over the U.S., Canada, UK, Ireland. Yeah. So, well, it's funny you say that because when I say that, I think a lot of people in the trades, I lose credibility with them.
Really?
Right? The second you leave and go into an office position, you no longer have the cred to speak on blue collar life for a lot of people. And
you
it's like, all right. Just because I had career growth, listen, I spent my fair share of time in the field, right? So whatever, there's always going to be haters, but that's the long and short about how I became, where I'm at. So
always. So I do want to, I know you said that you were a laborer and all that. Did you start in the laboring? Is that exactly where you started, was a laborer, or did you start somewhere else?
Yeah, I started local when I was a teenager, residential construction. My friend's dad, she had her father owned a residential contracting company. They do everything except for build a new house. Additions, roofs were the bread and butter. Spent a lot of time ripping roofs, picking up the shingles, throwing them in barrels. A lot of time, just any kind of grunt work, right? Digging holes, mixing concrete, pouring concrete, all that kind of stuff. Then I got an opportunity to work at a sheet metal shop. Being fully transparent, it's where my dad worked. But I can get into the stories about, a lot of people would assume that was nepotism. He did not own the company, and I probably got treated worse because my father was there.
Yeah,
right?
That makes sense.
That makes sense. But even when I was there, it was much more the same, right? I got some exposure to sheet metal and ductwork and what that looked like. But I was always just chomping at the bit to, get more because I knew I wanted bigger. I wanted to go up. I just didn't know how to do it.
Yeah, because it's, we always want more, but if you're trying to better yourself, that's also the best thing you can do for yourself too. As, I know you are someone that likes to preach on, you don't need to necessarily go to college. You want to give me a spiel on that?
Yeah. So, another thing that people kind of question me on or challenge me on, I have 2 degrees. I have a degree in mechanical engineering. Like I said, I have an MBA. But the question is do I feel like I needed it to do what I do or to go down the career path that I was on? And the answer is absolutely not. I can go into a long story why I think the popular thing people say is oh, we don't need college degrees. You should only go to college if it's STEM, engineering, being a lawyer, or being a doctor.
Or a vet.
I would even challenge that, right? Because people that say that, they probably didn't go to school for those things. It's funny because I've never heard one of those people in those positions claim that you absolutely need a college degree to do those jobs. And the reality is even as an engineer, I learned more in the first 6 months working than I did in 4 years of college and textbooks and taking tests and those types of things. And I see the same thing even on the flip side now as an executive that interviews and mentors young people in the industry as construction management. You can go get a construction management degree. The running joke is they still don't know how to do anything. We still need to teach them from scratch on day one. So it's like, what's the point? Well, like, I don't know what they're teaching, but it's not relevant material. And I think there's a whole other thing about general education versus all electives and whether or not those are relevant, but you still have to pay for them, right? Which costs tens of thousands of dollars. So a lot of it's just irrelevant education. But the bottom line is that if I were to go back and do it again, and I have a son and a daughter, what I would tell them is to get in as a laborer, get in with a subcontractor, start to learn the business, get a feel for what you think you want to do, and find mentorship. I could have landed in the same spot faster if I found the right mentors earlier and I knew how to find them. Right? And I think that's the most important thing, and that's what I'm trying to do with my platform. So,
how long have you been doing that?
Oh, I started mentoring in after-school programs 12 years ago. It was maybe 13 years ago. It was 2012 in Queens, New York. Then it was in Boston. My career's taken me all over the place. So I started in Boston. I haven't had any alcohol today, so you probably can't tell my Boston accent. It's there. I can. It comes out when I drink. But I went from there to California. I worked in California for a while. Then I went to New Jersey, New York, back to Boston, then to Florida, and now I'm national. So I did that as I was bouncing around to different cities. I was in after school programs teaching, just people about the industry, and I basically just was in Florida. It was high schoolers, and they said, "Hey, do you have a podcast?" Like we would listen.
That's so cool.
Started a podcast, blew up, and
it did.
And now I'm just a charlatan, influencer, another asshole, or a guy with a microphone.
An influencer.
An influencer who doesn't know what he's talking about.
I hate it.
21 years in the industry. 21 years in the industry. I've done everything from sweeping floors to, running a department as a director for a top 10 GC in the country. But I know nothing.
No, you don't.
I'm just an idiot with a microphone. Idiot with a microphone.
Someone has said to me before, they're like, man, they'll give anybody a platform. Just some people just don't need to talking about me. And I'm like, okay, whatever. Whatever.
Well, the funny thing is you get it because you're striking a chord with people. Like you're getting it because there's something, especially with men, that isn't being addressed. Right.
100%.
Sorry, I just had the TV just started making noise. Did you hear that?
No, it was just your facial expression. I was like, "What's in your room?"
Sorry, the TV was making noise, like a Marriott infomercial just came on.
You were literally looking up, and I'm like, "Is there a being in there?"
It's MK Ultra. Yeah, it's MK Ultra.
Shit.
Yeah, telling me what I can and can't say.
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
So, what is the weirdest thing you found on a job site that you can remember?
Ooh. So I have two things that come to my mind here. One's kind of cool, one's really funny, as long as it's not you. So if you know Boston at all, and there's the big skyline, right? And there's the big building, the big glass building. It's known as the Hancock Tower. It's the tallest building. It's the biggest building in Boston, right? It's kind of the signature building that they have. And we were renovating that, and we opened up a plumbing shaft, and there was a 6-pack of Schlitz in there from like back in the day, and there was a letter from the GC, which was Gilbane at the time, from 1977 when they were building the building, that said, it said, in an effort to maintain the beauty of Copley Square, please make sure you throw your beer cans in the trash receptacles provided on site. Don't not drink on the job site. just clean up.
It's fine.
Yeah, it just goes to show you like how far the construction industry's come and how much it's changed in 50 years.
That's why shit's crooked back then.
You know, so that was like the weirdest kind of coolest thing. And then
Oh my
probably
God.
about a year and a half ago, I got a call from a client, major retailer, that anybody that's listening to this podcast probably has some of their products. I would say, good chance. And they were like, "Hey, I don't know how to tell you this. We had a disgruntled client get in behind our breach security last night. We thought it was you guys, but it wasn't. And they defecated and rubbed it all over the walls."
No.
Yeah. So that was pretty funny.
No. Rubbed it on the walls.
Yeah. So I think they assumed it was us because like just tradesmen are gross, right? And they'll just literally shit in their hands and rub it on the walls. Right? Who else would do that besides men in construction? No, it wasn't. It was actually just somebody that was not happy with the service you gave them. So that was pretty funny.
Oh, that's awful. Holy shit. Who does that?
I'll tell you offline what retailer that was, but
Okay, can't wait.
yeah.
So I do want to talk about how you and your wife, Alexa, met and your early days in your relationship. Give me that story.
So I definitely did not make a joke about her name being the same as the robot Alexa.
No.
Otherwise, we would not be married today. Truth be told, so I mentioned I moved out to California for a while after I went to college, worked for an HVAC contractor out there doing design build. And while I was out there, I made friends with her brother. Partying, living it up, young people in their 20s in Southern California, having a good time.
Mm-hmm.
And then I moved to New York, and I was in a relationship, but when I got out of that relationship, I went back as a single guy. And I was like, ready to spread my seed around Southern California. And my buddy's sister had moved in with him, who was not there previously. And he kind of looked at me and was like, "Dude, don't touch my sister." And I was like, kind of
Already
did. No, but all joke. I mean, that actually is what happened. But all joking aside, it was just one of those things where we met and we were talking for a long time. And I think one of the best parts about it was that we became friends before we, got romantic. And I think that played a lot into, our relationship and what it developed into and
for sure.
where that went from there. So we actually met playing flag football on the beach. She's actually pretty good. She's very small, but like if you can hit it in her radius, she's got hands. She's got some of the best hands around. And
Awesome.
and she's a diehard Philadelphia sports fan. I'm a diehard Boston fan. So we have a lot of good banter with that. The Super Bowl a couple of years ago wasn't the most fun event for me, but
I bet it wasn't. She probably be bragged about that for the rest of her life.
Yeah, her friends definitely do. That was that was part of her maid of honor speech. She held up a sign that said the score to the Super Bowl, which was much more recent at that time, because we got married the following year.
What year did you get married?
We got married in 2019, and we met in 2015, but we started dating in 2016. So, so that was it, and it was actually long distance. So not recommended.
For how long?
But probably like 6 months, 9 months, something like that. The beautiful thing about my job in construction is I could afford to go back and forth for a while, but then we had options. Like I could have went back to Southern California. I've never had a problem getting a job anywhere in the country, anywhere that I've wanted to move. I've lived in 5 states. I'm about to move to a 6th state. And
that's so exciting. That's coming up, isn't it?
That is coming up. It's coming up in 5 weeks.
Oh my God, that's so soon.
Yeah. So I will be moving to Dallas.
That's awesome.
But then she moved to Boston, so we lived together in Boston for 5 years, in our youth.
In our youth.
Yeah.
So how do you balance construction chaos with emotional presence at home?
That's tough. It's
You're
tough.
like, I
think.
don't.
Well, I mean, it was tough at the beginning anyway, too. Just like I was on nights for the beginning of our relationship. She moved across the country
Of
from
course
me.
you were. What else? Jesus.
Yeah, I mean, so then she moves across the country to be with me, right? Because the loudmouth with the Boston accent at the bar was just something she couldn't resist. She had to actually go to the source.
Obviously.
And I was on nights when she first came to move in with me, and it was tough because like I wouldn't see her from Sunday night to really kind of Friday after work. I would be
We're
tired, and
still
it's just a
long
weird.
distance.
It was kind of like that, right? Like, you know, there would be times where I would see her for maybe an hour when she got home from work, and then I would have to go cover, you know, a shift because I was a super at the time. So I was running job sites, and then sometimes I would even run jobs during the day. So I'd cover a job from 6 to 2. I'd come home, sleep for a couple hours, or maybe 6 to 4, come home, sleep for an hour or two, or be on a job site at 7 a.m. to try to close it out because I was young and ambitious, right? Like
And you had energy.
I had energy, and I was going to take over the world. I was going to be, you know, God's gift to construction. And one of the things that I've always had a tough time balancing is I know how to go all in. I've always known how to go all in at work. I've always known how to outwork everybody. My natural inclination is always to let her fall by the wayside or let family fall by the wayside. Right. And what I've come to realize through getting older and discipline, maybe even losing a few fights, because one of the things that I love about my wife and that I've needed is the accountability piece. Like she definitely holds me accountable. Not saying that I just say yes to her, I cave into her on everything, but
You're
she
not a
definitely
yes
knows how to.
man.
Yeah, she knows how to put things into perspective for me. Like I had some growing up to do. Right, I wasn't exactly a man yet, as I would call myself today. And what I mean by that is I had to learn that being a man wasn't just being present at work, but it was also being present at home. I had to take the same tenacity that I take to the gym and to work to that, right? And I'm not there yet. If anybody ever tries to tell you that they've got it all figured out or they got
They're
the fucking
lying.
playbook, the playbook to a successful relationship and it's just bliss and everybody's happy,
Full of
I'm
shit.
far from that. Not even freaking close.
No.
But since I've realized that, like, am I improving and are things going in a much better direction? Absolutely. So that's how I would say. And part of that is then also, and this is something I've been struggling with more recently, especially with a growing family and different challenges in my career and now a growing platform. There are times where, you know, my role as a man is to lead and to do so calmly. And sometimes I want my wife to understand the pressure, the chaos that I'm in, the stress. Like when something's asked of me or expected of me at home, I want her to understand that like I also have a lot of things going on, but all I'm doing when I either complain about that or try to give off that anxiety to her to make her feel it is I'm putting her in a bad. I'm just raising that for her. Like her job isn't to match my anxiety. You know what I mean? And I'm learning that I have to control that, right? Whether
It's
that's
hard.
leave it on the job site or that's compartmentalize, or I don't want to say fake it, but just I can communicate without trying to make her feel my stress and my anxiety, you know? And I think
And
a
there's
lot
a
of
feeling
guys,
of guilt.
exactly. And I think there's a lot of guys that, you know, feel the same. And it's tough, but the first step is acknowledging it. And then, you know, you go from there.
But it is a good thing to talk about those things with your spouse.
It definitely is a good thing. My wife always asks me about my day. She wants to know, she wants to be involved, and it's because she cares, right? And she wants to support me.
Yep.
You know, but do I want to make her feel like my job is, you know, unstable,
You
or
sound like
that
Zach.
I'm unstable, but seriously, or that like I'm in a bad place because she can't fix it, right? She can support me and she can help me talk through things. You know, she can't fix it, and it's not going to help.
We just
by
want to
me
listen.
bringing that chaos to her. Exactly. And my
Because
wife
we
wants
care.
to fix it. My wife is like ready to drive to the
So
job
do
site.
I.
And
I'm like, all right,
yeah,
motherfucker, what are we doing?
yeah, yeah, exactly.
Same.
So,
I want to drive there too.
but it's one of the things that I think with this industry, a lot of guys struggle with. They don't know how to draw the line. I was very young when somebody pointed it out to me. I was letting it get to me when I first got into a supervisor role and I was a superintendent role and I was running a job. My demeanor was changing on site and they knew that I was bringing it home. And one of the older guys pulled me aside and was like, "Hey, you get hit by a bus. Somebody's finishing this job, just so you know. So just don't change. Don't cave into the way everybody else is acting."
It's it's funny you say that because this happened. I'm not saying specifics at all about Zach's job because that's not necessary, but there's been problems where he has said that to his foreman, like, "Hey, I just want to let you know, Chelsea notices a difference in me when I'm doing this versus this. I'm bringing it home and I don't like that." And he's acknowledging it. And his foreman's like, the fact that you're acknowledging that and like saying that out loud, your marriage is more important than this job. And Zach's like, "Thank you for acknowledging that. Thank you." Because not a lot of people would, and it's unfortunate, but I'm like,
so
proud of you for that.
One thing that I would say, and I think, especially in my world, what I'll call my world of construction, which is the big GC, big boy world, we've got 4,500 employees, we get $10 billion in revenue, very tall structure. Like we got a real, when we say CEO, like it's a real CEO, like he's a big deal. And I've spoken with multiple people in the C-suite, CEO, COO, about that. They'll actually pull me aside and they'll say, how are you doing? And I immediately, actually, at the last conference, the COO asked me that, and I started talking about work. He's like, "I'm not asking you about work. How are you doing?" Right? And whether it's him or the CEO, they both have been, every time I talk to them, they're like, "This is not the priority." Right? Like, even my CEO was giving me an example the other day of how he was getting frustrated because his wife scheduled a dinner or something, or wanted to do something as a family, and that was getting in the way of him having a meeting with a client. And he's like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa," and she wasn't necessarily understanding how important that meeting was in his mind. And he's like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, wait a minute, she's my first priority." Right? And my COO was telling me, like, your presence at home is important. Do not answer the phone until they go to bed. If you even want to then.
Yeah.
Right? Your family life is important. You shouldn't move to another state for them, because I've had offers to go to different states to take different positions. He's like, you should limit your travel. And where I'm getting at is there is a notion that this industry is all about slave driving, backbreaking, and like it's a soulless industry and the people at the top don't care. There is a lot of that, but it's not everybody. And I think that's another reason that mentorship is important, because especially when you're young, you don't know how to identify that. There's a lot of bullshit artists. There's a lot of people that have a lot to say, and nobody's right 100% of the time. But the best way to be able to weed that out and filter that out and know who you want to emulate and who's giving you bullshit and who's not is to have a mentor. I'm fortunate enough that I'm close to those guys, so I'm getting it at a different level right now. But it's a very important message that people need to understand. There are a lot of leaders in the industry that even at the highest level that you think should be the evil heads of capitalism. It's just not true.
Yeah, that's like when we were at his Christmas party this last year. One of the, I don't know exactly what he is. He's up there though. He looked at me and he goes, "Is he eating more now?" And I'm like, "Yeah, he is." So it's like they pay attention. It's like they're not just sitting here like, okay, like the joke is at his company is one more pipe. It's always one more pipe. Right. And he has said to his crew, like, "Hey, cool if you have one more pipe, but I'm not going to sit here and be like, you have to lay one more pipe. Go home to your family." And it's like, I know that mentality is like, work hard as shit. I get that. But at the end of the day, what's the most important thing, And it's really neat seeing that from someone up higher too.
One of the most valuable things my CEO told me recently was to compartmentalize. And I've spoken about that on my, my shorts in the morning, or not my shorts, my real story in the morning. When I wake up, I don't have to lay all the pipe in one day, right? I don't have to do everything that I have to do right now. all I have to do when I wake up is either go for a run if my kids are sleeping, or I have to be dad, right? I don't have to worry about work yet. Just be dad. Get them dressed, cook the eggs, change the diapers,
Cook
and
the
then
eggs.
when yeah, and then when the kids are then taken by mom, my wife, or the nanny or whoever, then I'm in work mode. Okay, kick ass,
Hmm.
take names. The second I'm done, if I have to decompress for a couple minutes before I walk back into the house, leave it there, compartmentalize. Okay, I don't have to be at work anymore. It's 5:30. It's 6 o'clock. I got to be dad. How do I help my wife? How do I take the workload off her shoulders? How do I be a good dad? Can I read a book? How do I get to bedtime? Right, while bringing some value to my kids' lives. And a lot of the
Hmm.
time, it's just a matter of being in the room. And I think, especially with work ethic, one of the things that I didn't realize my wife needed is sometimes for me physically to just sit on the couch with her, watch a
Yeah,
show,
quality time
scroll on
is
Instagram.
it's the
Just
best thing. Like just being in that energy around each other is just
yeah,
there's
just be
magnetic.
there.
It's a magnetic thing. And a
Yeah,
lot of people don't realize that. Like the older I've gotten, and I like that you brought that up because, the love languages, and I know a lot of people think those are bullshit, but I know that there's validity in a lot of them. But when I was younger, when Zach and I started dating, acts of service was my biggest one. And now it's quality time. And his also changed too. His were words of affirmation. Now we both have quality time as it. And we don't even have to say a damn word. Just being in the same room as him,
yeah. I think
I'm
mine's
good.
probably mine's probably touch. I like to be touched. um, and probably words of affirmation. I think
Most men's high up there is words of affirmation, and physical touch is pretty average, normal.
it's funny. I was talking to somebody about this earlier because um, we try so hard to do the right things at work. It's to handle the kids in the morning and at night, and sometimes it feels like on the other end you give a compliment and you probably feel like you give them all the time, but on the receiving end, at the end of the day, after you've done all these things all day and something's pointed out that you did wrong or didn't do that, you're it feels like you do nothing right when you work so hard and literally put so much of your energy into doing everything you can,
Hmm.
or you're being
Exactly. And
negligent or incompetent, and it it
yeah,
it hits.
it sucks because you have to think like you have so much energy for this, but you also have so much energy for your family at the same time. And,
Mm.
it's a completely different energy level, completely different. But at the same time, you still have to balance those things.
Yeah.
It's definitely not for the weak, having a successful relationship in that kind of industry. And
Mm.
a lot of people say that to me and they're like, how do you do that? And it's pray.
It's tough. It's tough. I mean, there's a reason why a lot of people say, the 3 Ds. It's like disorder, or DUI and divorce.
Yeah.
There's
It's,
also a lot of
it's
other reasons to that, but
absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I do want to talk about your parenting style. Is it more of like gentle parenting like everybody has nowadays, or how is your parenting style? Because I am interested to hear it because a lot of people are into gentle parenting, which whatever you want to do, but I want to know your thoughts on that.
No, not into gentle parenting at all. And I think a lot of I was a really good not high school, really good youth football coach, and I'm just big on discipline. I'm big on repetition. I'm big on physical and audio indicators for people to do the right thing. I'm big on schedules. That being said, you know, I have come to the realization lately that my parenting style was not suiting my son well, and you
Mm-hmm.
got to be open to that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I
How old is
very
he?
much. He's three,
Mm-hmm.
3 and 3 months, and my daughter's 1 and 3 months. But from the beginning, it was like, well, I'm not picking you up every time you cry.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to hit. You're going to say please and thank you when you ask for things. Um, you're going to apologize when you do something wrong. Like we're going to go over things. Like you're not just going to run amok. right? And you're not just going to
Bamboozle
scream your
me.
way. Yeah, you're not just going to scream your way to, me giving you whatever you want. And you're certainly not going to communicate to me by whining.
No.
I can't hear that. You know what I mean? I can't hear that. Now, what I will say, and I come down on him very hard. I have spanked him when he's needed it. But what I will say is that I noticed recently he covers his ears sometimes in chaotic situations. We were at an amusement park last week. The merry-go-round freaked him out.
Is he
Right?
overstimulated?
Yes, exactly where I was going.
Yep.
So what I have found recently is I can't push him to do things, right? So if I want him to go down the big slide at the park, I can't push him down it. He will rebel. He'll get scared. He won't want to do it again. If I let him do it and let him kind of discover it in his own and get comfortable, then he'll do it. That's fine. Instead of raising my voice at him and instead of coming down on him hard sometimes and being that hard disciplinarian football coach, he will respond better sometimes if I remove him from the situation and speak to him eye to eye and explain, because he's a very smart kid. Explain to him like an adult why we don't do this. An adult that doesn't know how the world works, right? Like, but I can talk to him. I can talk to him like that. Like I can talk to him like that, and he'll get it, and then he won't do it again. But then there are other times that he'll kick his little sister, or he'll hit my wife, or because he won't do it to me because he's afraid of Papa Bear, right? So I guess disciplinarian is definitely what I lean towards. At the same time, much like the career, like you have to acknowledge if your leadership style is not working, and you have to figure out what works without trying to enable shitty behavior.
I love that. Because a lot of people, I'm not telling people how to parent. It's whatever you want to do, but.
Well, and again, anybody that tells you they got to figure it out is lying, because every kid's different. And, you go, every parent goes into it like, oh, we're going to watch my shows and we're not watching this or that, or, whatever. That's how it's going to be. Then you get into it and it's like, oh no, they are a human that has their own autonomy and tendencies and thoughts and likes and dislikes, and and you got to figure out how to do it. So,
what's something that you hope that they inherit from you?
The phrase "work hard, play hard" comes to mind. I don't think I play very hard anymore. I think I probably played too hard when I was younger. Like it was like work harder, play harder than everyone. I'd be the guy that would work 16 hours and then go party for 5.
I don't know how anybody does that.
It's just, I can't do it anymore.
That shit makes me so tired.
I would say work ethics at the top of the list. Definitely work ethic at the top of the list. I think if they were to improve, I got work ethic from my father. He taught me how to be the first guy in, last guy out, outwork everybody in the room. Literally leave every room you leave, have zero doubt who the hardest worker in the room is, and it better be you. That's what my father taught me. And
I love that.
I took that almost to a fault, right? What I didn't have that I can now add on to what my father taught me was a greater purpose. So yes, I want them to have the work ethic, but I want them to be able to identify a purpose that is greater than themselves that they want to serve. Whether that's philanthropy, bringing value to their community, teaching, mentoring like I'm doing, whatever that may be. What it can't be is just make a lot of money to have an easy life and to take clients out on golf trips and boating trips and to football games and basketball games, because that's just a nice life to live, which is what I was after at the beginning.
It's the how.
Yeah. So
yeah,
that's what I would
like
say.
That. That's awesome. So mentoring, I know that you've done this for a long time, but is there any struggles that you've come up with since starting that really kind of like shocked you? That was a struggle?
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest with you. The first thing that comes to mind, learning how to manage down is a very serious skill that is very difficult. Managing down and leading, I think everyone just looks at their boss or their project manager and thinks, oh, it's easy to sit in the air-conditioned truck or in the office and just dictate and tell people what to do. There is a reason why a lot of guys and girls go into the office and they're like, fuck this, put me back in the field. I'm not dealing with this headache. And especially when it comes to mentoring young people, much like parenting, like the same leadership style isn't going to work with everybody. I think I try to give people all the rope to hang themselves at the beginning. And it's like, and when I say mentorship in this sense, I mean young employees that work under me that I'm leading, right? So I try to give them all the rope to hang themselves. I don't let them hang themselves. I don't dictate exactly how they do things. It's, hey, high level, get this task done. In other words, I don't care how you do it. And then if they can't do that, then okay, then I'm going to give you some advice. Then we're going to meet regularly to go over it. Then I'm going to stick my hand up your ass and move your mouth like a puppet. Then I might have to do it for you. And if you're not getting it by watching me do it, then maybe I don't fucking need you. And that's kind of where that goes. The other thing that I will say is there are overcoming stigmas as a leader is really difficult, and especially mentorship, trying to get people into the industry. I think especially with whether it's young people in the industry that are upset with how people talk to them, or it's young people that are interested in the industry, but they don't think that, if they're not a white guy like me, good looking white guy with a mustache, tall, handsome, then there's no place for them in construction. What I've learned is, although I disagree with you okay? Although I disagree with,
I just hope you didn't hear that burp.
no, it's okay. Although I disagree with, how society or how those thoughts got into their head, they're there, right? And they have to be addressed. And you have to somehow find a way to communicate with people that, like, for instance, I was mentoring a young girl in an after-school program, and she literally thought that because she was a black woman in young black woman, people wouldn't want to see her in the plumbing world. And I was like, actually, if we're being honest, you're probably going to get better job security because you're a black woman, because you check DEI boxes. And that's just me being honest with you. Like, you can get offended by that if you want, but that's the truth.
It's true.
And so it's like taking the veil off of people and realizing that, dude, this is purely merit-based, and we all talk to each other like this. Like, a lot of younger people, especially young women and young minorities, they come in the industry, and because a lot of their parents or fathers or uncles and aunts or whoever weren't in the industry. Like, I grew up in the industry. My dad was in the industry. He was a 40-year guy. All my uncles, all my friends' dads, they were all in there. I know how they talk to each other. So when somebody comes on site and they motherfuck you, or they call you an asshole, or they get on you for not doing your job, or make you feel like you're incompetent, probably because you are being incompetent, that's not because of you or you specifically or what you look like.
Yep.
It's because that's how people talk to each other in construction.
Yeah, exactly.
So learning how to manage people with those perspectives and kind of trying to change them is tough.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, that would be, very much so. Tell me how mentoring mirrors fatherhood.
This is a really good question. Mentoring mirrors fatherhood because you're taking responsibility for somebody else's well-being. Like, that's what it means to be a father. That's what it means to be a husband too. Like, I'm officially taking responsibility to be my wife, right? I'm officially taking responsibility for my kids. I am officially, as a mentor, taking responsibility and investing myself in somebody else's well-being, ideally for no benefit to myself. I had that when I was younger, right? I had I call them 5 mentors that I had, whether it was high school, my first job, my second job, or even currently, I still have one today, where people just invested time in me for no reason at all. It did not benefit themselves. And that's why I call them, my mentors. I was working with them and I was working under them, but they didn't have to go out of their way the way that they did to go the extra mile to really teach me and polish me and build me up to be better than they were, right? Every mentor that I've had wanted me to be better than them. And we want that for our kids, right? Like
Absolutely.
everyone always says you want to give your kid, the better life. I want to equip my kids with the better tools than I had. Like I said, I want work ethic. I would love to instill that in some of the young employees that I work with, but I also want to give them a purpose. And again, I want to give the young people that I work with the same tools and perspective that I have now after 21 years of figuring it out. And I still probably haven't figured it out, right? I have more to figure out. But pass that on to the next generation so that they can take it to the next level.
I love that. That's a great answer. So I do know we did talk about like the love languages, but I do want to go back on that just because I want to dive a little deeper into it. But
Sure.
How do you and Alexa express appreciation with each other? Is it acts of service? Is it something more specific?
I try to say thank you a ton. I probably don't say it enough. Thank you when I love you. My wife is so good when
Text
it comes
for that
to
right now.
Yeah. She's just so good when it comes to, we were just in New Hampshire for a month, half work, half vacation. I work remotely, so I can kind of do that. And although we didn't have a nanny or daycare to send the kids to, like, she made a point to find time for me to get to the gym almost every day. She knows that's important to me. She knows that's important to my mental health, and she tries to prioritize that. She also, anytime I have something where it's a new job or a new position, or I'm going for a big presentation or a big speech that I'm giving or something like that, I'll go to open up my backpack and there's a little note in there that tells me, butters me up about how far we've come and how far I've come and how much she respects, my work ethic and how she wants my kids to be exactly like me. And, in certain ways, I'm sure there's a list of things that she doesn't want them to emulate, as do I. And I try to do the same for her. I think one of the interesting things that I'm trying to do now, number one, is take things off of her plate. Like I try to take pride in the fact that I can take the kids from like 5 a.m. to 8 a.m. so that she doesn't have to be the primary caregiver. And, she kind of has the burden at the end of the night. I try to tell her as much as I can how much I appreciate the things that she does, that I like, the doctor's appointments and planning meals and just the things that I just naturally just don't do.
Because that's the
You know
thing.
what I mean?
That sucks the most, is like planning meals for the rest of your life. I swear to God.
No, and I mean, she'll even get frustrated at me sometimes. She's like, just tell me what you want to eat next week.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's the only thing Zach and I argue about. Food.
It's tough, right? And
it sucks. He's like, whatever you make is great. Sweetheart, I need you to tell me, like, does spaghetti sound good or tacos? He's gonna say tacos, but like, I need something.
It's just so funny. Like, it's the simple things. And I think ultimately, like, what she wants to feel like is that she's not the only person in control, or like the burden doesn't fall on her to make all the decisions. And sometimes it's just like, make a freaking decision and stop being a pussy about it. So, but to show appreciation,
yeah.
But to show appreciation, I think one of the interesting things that I'm trying now is to practice gratitude out loud in front of her. Maybe it's not directed at her specifically, but it's like, man, we're really lucky. We were just able to go to New Hampshire and work remote, but also not be in Florida for the month of July. We were able to, our AC broke the other day and it was 92 degrees in the house with the kids, and that was a clusterfuck, and it was really hard, and it took us 2 days to get the temperature under control, and then the compressor was back ordered that we had to order to fix it, and it's a couple $1,000 fix, and we're getting quotes for $4,000 and $5,000. We ended up getting a quote for much less. But number one, we had 9 neighbors that arrived at our house in an hour with air conditioners to help us get the temperature down. Her parents showed up to put stuff in the fridge for us so that we didn't have to go grocery shopping because we were dealing with shit. I'm in the panel changing out breakers and taking apart the AC, trying to figure out what's going on.
Oh my God.
And we had each other, and it's like wait a minute, and we're financially stable enough, and I do well enough, as does she. She works and she does well. That
what does she do?
She's in marketing.
Okay.
But like, we can take a hit. You know what I mean? Like, it's not the end of the world. We can take a hit.
Right.
And then at the end of the night, I'm in the gym after it was all said and done, and a mom walks in. I got locked out of the gym, first of all, because they changed the locks, and I was pissed. And I'm like, after all this, like, oh, poor me. Why is the world against me right now? I just want to work out and get my mind straight so I can go to bed.
Shut up.
And then, like, so it took me 20 minutes to get in, and then I get in, and a woman walks in with her son in a wheelchair. And it was very clear that he had cerebral palsy. I'm guessing. If I had to guess, it's cerebral palsy.
Yeah.
And she's bear hugging him and lifting him onto machines to work out.
What a blessing
like,
you have your legs to work.
All my extremities, because, you know, he's got his arms weren't fully functional.
He can't do anything.
I'm like, dude, we're on top of all the things that I already acknowledged that we were grateful for early today. Like, that's all gravy. Like, we have a strong foundation of functionality here. Like, God is good to us, and you can't lose sight of that. So I'm trying to practice gratitude just about everything out loud in front of her, and I think that just helps us both acknowledge. Not yet, like, because I don't think he understands. He just wants popsicles. So
just start doing
it. Yeah, I think we're gonna start. I'm starting to do things because he's a smart kid. He's there.
Kiss her in front of him.
Yeah.
So, because I remember that stuff. Like, my parents did that a lot.
Yeah, he's starting to tell us that he loves us and stuff, and he'll tell me he's proud of me. And yeah, really. And then he just says the funniest stuff.
Freaking crocodile.
But he's always watching. He's always watching for sure.
Oh, they are. They are sponges, and especially at that age, 100%. They can tell mommy and daddy love each other.
He told my wife the other day that, "Mommy, I got to go to the bathroom." And she's like, "Is it poop or pee?" And he's like, "Poop." And she's like, "Okay, let's go." And he goes, "I want to take a big poop like Dad." Like, you know what I mean? Like, literally watching everything. So you're probably right. I do need to do that, you know, in front of him.
Oh, I would. And it doesn't have to be over the top. Just feel like, you look so beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah.
that. Oh my God. I remember I was like 4 or 5, and my dad, and I remember this so vividly. My dad, one of my dad's friends came to the house, and my dad said to this guy, "Yeah, my beautiful bride," talking about my mom. He still says that. Tomorrow is their 43rd wedding anniversary. Ooh. And he still says that. And it's like, I vividly remember that. And it's like, kids remember that stuff. No matter how much you think they're not paying attention, they are.
Not the house I grew up in.
Yeah, my dad is very, very affectionate to my mom. My mom was very affectionate to my dad. So it was like, that was
I think,
how I grew up.
You know, I had a lot of trauma to come over. My parents separated very early. My mom is no longer with us. She passed away 2 years ago, but she battled drug addiction for a long time. Very turbulent relationship with her longtime boyfriend. You know, saw a lot of verbal abuse. Cops were at my house regularly as a kid. On my dad's side, my stepmother was probably the worst alcoholic I've ever seen.
Oh,
you know,
no.
used to, you know, threaten me with butcher's knives and stuff like that, and like throw herself down the stairs and try to get, you know, I'm going way on a tangent right now.
That's
you know,
horrible.
Try to accuse my dad of like beating her and stuff, and you know, so I saw a lot of things, a lot of negative things between, you know, just the drug and alcohol abuse when I was a kid, and it definitely runs in my family too. That when it came to maturing at work and maturing in a relationship and as a father, it took me a long time to process that stuff and come to terms with it and acknowledge what that did to me and how I don't want to do that to my wife or my kids. Like, there are times when I'm having an argument with my wife and I can feel an impulse to say something or to snap or to do something, and I hold back specifically because it reminds me of what I witnessed when I was a kid.
As fucked up as that is, that's probably a blessing.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I even hear, you know, my friends argue and stuff like that, and it's not nearly as tumultuous as what I grew up with, but I can see the immaturity in people, and when they do that, and you know, I don't like it.
No, and I saw I don't even know what it was, like a podcast. I don't know if it was I don't know who it was, but I heard something the other day of someone saying it is not normal to fight all the time. And I think there are a lot of people that think that's normal, and it's not. It's not normal to fight with your significant other like that. It's toxic.
No, there's some people that I think are addicted to the chaos, and I see it on a small. What I do see between my wife and I and a lot of people. Again, I got a lot of guys that I talk to, and my guys group texts, and it's just funny because we're all going through the same shit. Where how do I say this? The need to like win an argument is not like where you need to be. You know what I mean? Like there's such an impulse to either win an argument or demean somebody, like, and to go back
You
and
always
forth
have
in
to be
that
right.
way. Yeah, like you don't need to prioritize like being right all of the time.
Correct.
So I think that's
You have to
that's
prioritize being a team.
right.
I think people lose sight of that. In reality, shouldn't that be the main goal? Because that chaos is so brief.
Well,
But
and I think it's like sometimes like if you feel like if you're not here, right? Like and if you're listening on audio, I'm holding my hand up high, then sometimes it's like, and I'm just as an example, like my wife sees me down here. Why aren't you up here with me? So she'll really crank it up until I get here. But then as men, Bill Burr does a skit on this. As men, we're like, all of a sudden, boom, we're up here. And now that we're up here and we surpass where our wife was and our anxiety's all the way up and our reaction's all the way up, I don't even remember what we were talking about, but you just reacted in such a negative way and you just turned the temperature so high and snapped that now that's the fucking problem. And now that's what we're arguing about. And there's a lot of guys in construction that do that, right? So it's like it's okay to acknowledge, like sometimes even at work, like I if I'm not anxious or I don't feel the pressure, it's like, am I doing it? Am I doing okay? Like, am I taking my foot off the gas? Like I can't do that. Or like like I said earlier, sometimes I'm so stressed out and I'm under so much. And then my wife asks of things for me, or she wants her love languages. And it's like, but don't you understand the burden that I'm carrying? I subconsciously communicate that to her with my body language, with my volume, with my shortness, with how I react to things, and then I immediately think about it, and I'm like, why did I just do that? There was no reason to crank that up. You know what I mean?
the temperature of the room didn't have to be 1,000.
The concentration should be to take a step back and come back down. You meet them down. Don't be trying to meet them up or trying to bring somebody up to meet you. At that level of anxiety.
Yeah.
So
because your energy will rub off, and then she doesn't. She's down here, and if she feels that,
yeah,
nope, no, thank you.
Right.
But you do talk about being stressed. So what is one unexpected way that your wife knows that you're stressed that you didn't realize?
When I walk in the room. She can feel it. She's like a dog that can like detect cancer. She can feel when I walk in the room when I'm stressed or I'm having a bad day. I try not to do that. I mean, my focus now is not passing that on. And I think she's detected stress so many times in me, unjustifiably so, because I so subconsciously want her to understand what I'm feeling, that my concentration needs to be on pulling back on that. Like it's like my hints are like fucking hand grenades. Like, you know what I mean? Like
Zach never has to wonder what I'm fucking thinking. I'm just like, here you go.
Yeah.
This is what I'm having a problem with.
Yeah, exactly. And on the flip side, what I will say to you women out there,
You women,
because
just fucking say it.
Men do not do this, except for maybe the soy boys. Stop asking me if something's wrong. If I say no, then just take that fucking answer. So, I was talking about this with a bunch of guys the other day, but it's like sometimes there is something wrong, but we're trying not to bring it to the table because we don't need to, because it's just either you're not going to solve the problem, it's not going to do you justice. Just let me let the steam dissipate from my ears. let the teapot temperature come down and just leave it alone. Leave the hot pot of water on it alone.
The way you're saying that reminds me of Zach and I were having a conversation about therapy. And I had asked him, I said, do you think men need therapy? And he goes, honestly, not a lot of men need it. And I'm like, why? He goes, because a lot of men figure their shit out in their head and they let the fucking shit go. Women can't, because all they want to do is yap. And I'm like, that's true. That is true.
And one of the things she'll tell me,
do want it. I know. And I'm not saying like, men don't need therapy. I'm not fucking saying that. I'm saying men can figure shit out better than women can on different levels.
I need other men. I need to talk to other men. That's what I need. I've tried therapy. I don't like it. Not for me. And the other thing that my wife will say to me is like, go to the gym. I don't care. Just go to the gym. Please go to the gym.
Yep.
She knows that meditation time and whatever that does to me mentally, not even the physical aspect, but that puts me in a different place all day. Energy's better, mood's better. So sometimes she will say that to me. So
yep, exactly. How do you stay emotionally tethered when life gets noisy?
Try not to take the path of least resistance. Right. I think we get so overwhelmed, especially once you have a wife and you're all of a sudden responsible for that person and you feel responsible for their emotions. And then you have kids, 1, 2 kids, and it's a really bad habit to get into to prioritize convenience over, emotion or habit or action. The convenience and path of least resistance should never be prioritized. Is what I would say. And that's really hard. I mean, that's really hard. There are times where it's like, my God, whatever it takes to have my child stop screaming because I just can't anymore. But that's a slippery, I'm not saying that I never do that, but
you're here, man.
But that's a slippery slope. And I think compartmentalizing, like we talked about earlier, and prioritizing those compartments is the answer. And I think a lot of the time too, like when it gets noisy, one thing that I've had to work on is like telling my boss, just like Zach told his boss, right? Or 3-time as we call him. Like, hey, I'm going through this. I have this going on, right? I'm sorry, I can't right now. I know I shouldn't move this meeting. I know, I rescheduled it already. Whatever it is, you'd be surprised when you communicate. If you make a habit out of it and you're always just a problem, yeah, okay. Like then it's gonna
then you're
like
obnoxious.
Okay, you can't always be a problem. Yeah, like you are the problem.
Yes.
But there are certain times where communicating to people, what you're going through, not trying to play a victim and make them feel bad for you or trying to crank up their anxiety, but just communicating like, hey, important family thing, got to do it,
I'm not in the mindset to do this right now either. So,
Right.
Shit, where did I lose my spot? Oh, there. Two more questions.
Let's do it.
Okay. What hard days have taught you about growth?
I mean, it definitely makes you appreciate the good ones, right? And I think I've acknowledged that the hard days are where the value is. If you're somebody that can get through the hard days and you can make problems go away, you can solve problems, you can be somebody that doesn't just find problems and talk about problems, but somebody that comes up with solutions and maybe even put them to bed before anybody else finds out about them. I think that's the best way to bring value to anybody, whether it's your wife, whether it's your boss, your client, whoever that may be. And what I've, discipline, hard work, these are muscles. And if you can maintain discipline and hard work, if you can maintain those things on the hard days, get the fuck out of the way. You better look out when I have an easy day, because when the wind's at my back, I'm fucking coming. You know what I mean?
Your 4-minute mile.
Yeah, yes. I've had so many situations where, I had a project down in Florida, and I remember the super telling people, subcontractors and some consultants that were involved in the project, like, you better hope Ryan doesn't get his hands to himself, because he's tied up right now. And when he has time, you better look the fuck out and you better have your shit together, because he will fucking run you over. You know what I mean? And I don't mean to say that to sound like a tough guy. I
No.
just mean to say that I'm at the point now where you get through so many hard days, and everybody goes through shit, right? Like, everybody has people die. Everybody has people get sick. Everybody has their AC break. Everybody gets a flat tire. If you can be the person that still shows up and makes things happen when those things happen, and you can still be disciplined about improving all of the time, all of a sudden, when you have to get something done, you know what? My 4-hour workday is better than anybody's 8-hour workday or 12-hour workday. I'll guarantee you that, right? So my 40 hours, when I pull back and I feel like I'm pulling back from my family to give them more time, and when I pull back, I'm going from 70, 60, 50 down to 40 hours to a normal person's work time, I'm still doing better than everybody else. And even though I'm like, oh my God, am I taking my foot off the gas? Like, should I be concerned? I'm not taking it seriously. It's like, oh no, I am still kicking everybody's ass. Right? So the hard days are the opportunity to bring the value that nobody else is bringing, and to work the muscles, right? Those things are muscles that you have to work. So yeah, hard days are opportunities. And I know that sounds corny as shit, but try it. See what happens.
How are diamonds made?
That's right.
Weird. Okay, so if you could leave one piece of advice behind on a job site wall, what would it say?
On a job site wall.
Yep.
You want a quick funny story?
Yes.
So, guys on job sites are really vulgar. And
Absolutely.
if you don't know, if you write with a Sharpie on a piece of drywall and then you paint, a couple months later, a couple weeks later, it will bleed through. It'll come through. And we were on a job site one time, and a guy, like somebody on the job site's name was Alan. And they wrote, "Alan sucks dick" on the wall.
Did they draw a dick?
And a couple weeks or months go by, and it was in an office. What do you think the guy's name was that sat in that office when the job site was over? Yeah. Yeah. So, that's just like an all-time story.
What are the odds of that? What the hell?
I think the thing that I would write on the wall of a job site is to kill people with communication and kindness, or kindness and kill people with kindness and communication. I think no matter what I've done in my career, whether it's working with a disgruntled client who is twice my age and is kicking my ass and just knows more than me and is just absolutely beating the shit out of me, or I started getting in leadership positions and, I walked onto a job site and the super told me, the project manager, just so you know, I hate superintendents and you're not my boss. And what I say goes. You know what I mean? Basically, fuck you.
Yep.
Or, subcontractors that when I was running job sites as a super in my early 20s didn't want to even talk to a kid. My response to that has always been to kill people with kindness, not let them get off my rocker, and over communicate to bring value to them. Right? And so what do I mean by that? And how did I put that into practice literally? I would summarize everything that I said at the end of a conversation. I'd put it in an email immediately. I'd read the email sometimes out loud, send it right to him. Hey, did I interpret the situation, correctly? I would intentionally work till late hours of the night and send out communication, whether it was a client or whether it was a subcontractor, to treat them like a client as well, to let them know that I am doing everything that I possibly can to bring value to them, to make their life easier. What can I do, even if it's outside of my job scope? Like, what can I do for you? How can we work as a team, together? And I mean this genuinely. And if I got a little dark about it, when I've had the difficult client or the difficult sub or the difficult internal team member, it's like, you know what? I am going to work so fucking hard around the clock with a smile on my fucking face that you are going to question everything you know about work and everything you think you are when it comes to representing work ethic. And 9 times out of 10, however rocky it starts off with a client or a person, the relationship eventually flips and it changes. And those become some of the best relationships that I've ever had. And people that not only would I want to work with again, but I've had that super specifically then 6 months later go into the office and say, yeah, I'm not working with any more project managers. Ryan's the only project manager that I'm working with. You know what I mean? Like be the coffee bean. I use that analogy. I steal it from Damon West, but like, don't let the environment around you change. You want to be the thing that changes the environment. And if you kill people with kindness and you try to communicate that you're trying to bring value to people and make people's lives easier, even when it's outside of your responsibility, your work and your work-life balance is it's going to be so much better.
I love that. That's good.
So kill people with kindness and communication.
People. Just kill people.
Just fucking kill them. Run them over.
Just kidding. Where did it go? Where did I put that? Last thing. I do this with everybody. I got this game off TikTok Shop. How deep will you go? There's 3 different levels. Level 1 is icebreakers. Level 2 is confessions. And level 3 is getting deep. Level 1, icebreakers. I don't like that question. We're not asking that question. That's dumb. What's your favorite compliment someone has given you?
I mean, it's got to be that I look good from a gay guy.
That's awesome.
Right? Like, it's one thing, every straight guy, like, wants to be wanted by women, right?
Yeah.
But it's like an extra compliment when you get it from a gay dude, right? Like,
I had a girl ask for my number once and I about shit my pants. I was like, no fucking way.
yeah, fucking
for
right.
real?
Right?
That's fucking awesome, dude. I'm like, really?
I'm not
okay.
Yeah, not afraid to say that.
I'm like, I'm straight as an arrow, but I'm so complimented by that. Thanks.
Dude, it's so funny because and I tell guys this, but like when I was a super and when I'm on the job site, like I always dress well, I got the watch, like I look kind of like GQ-ish as they say, but a lot of guys will call me like gay or fag or whatever, like when they don't like me or I'm in an argument with a sub, and I'm just like, you just think I look good. That's what you're saying, right?
You're just
yeah.
You're just really, really intimidated by me.
Take a compliment.
Yeah. Level 2 confessions. What's something you really love about yourself?
Oh, man. Something I love about myself is probably just my ability to talk to anybody. Like, man, I can walk into any bar, go to any game, whatever, and just make a friend and talk to people. And I think that just comes from, being interested in other people and interested in having a good time.
I can too. I can talk to a wall. That's what Zach says. Well, funny story about that. I was we were flying back from Florida, and this lady was probably in her 70s, sat next to me. I was watching this thriller movie, and she was looking over at it. And I was like, do you want to watch this with me? She's like, sure. So I take my headphone out. She watches it with me. We get done with the movie, and we had like a half hour left. And we got to talking, and she was telling me about this retirement home in Florida. And she's like, you guys would love it. It's wonderful. And I'm like, cool. She's yapping about it. She's telling me all about it. She's like, well, you got probably like 20, 30 years before you can get there, right? And I was like, yeah, this is like when we just got married. So a couple weeks later, I'm at Zach's grandparents' house and I'm telling his grandma about it. And she goes, "What's the name of it?" I told her The Villages. She goes, "Honey, that's a swinger community."
So I didn't know that there's like, because I live down in Florida and there are swingers in my neighborhood and
Yeah.
pineapple decor
Yep.
and red chairs outside are the flag.
She had a pineapple
So
shirt on and I didn't even know.
you see, pineapples. Yeah.
I'm like, great. Grandma was trying to pick me up. Love that. For
Yeah,
me.
yeah.
And Zach's like, maybe you
good.
shouldn't talk to
Hey, everyone likes to feel wanted. It's okay.
Oh, level 3 getting deep. What is your biggest struggle right now?
It's the balance of ambition and serving what I've identified as my purpose and being the family man and the husband and putting them first. It's always been that. It's still that.
It'll probably always be that.
Quite often I know it's one of those things. It's like you can give everybody the advice, but you can't take it yourself. You're more likely to give your dog a prescription than take your own prescription that the doctor prescribed you.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm working on it. It's an effort every single day, but just going to my wife with the right temperament, making time for them, making sure I have energy for them, but also like I have this just ambition. And my wife has told me, because I've been pushed to the point where I'm like, you know what, I'm not doing the podcast anymore. I'm not posting anymore. I'm just going to focus on work and family, and that's it. And I make enough money where it's I can do that. Well, the platform and everything is not about making money. It's about serving my passion, right? And what I see as my purpose. And my wife has said, like, do less, but you're never just stopping entirely. Like you have to do that. You're meant to do it. Something's coming of it. Just keep doing it.
You just got to hire a virtual assistant.
I need a virtual assistant. I'm vetting them right now. Inside joke.
Yeah,
I'm considering having Chelsea be my virtual assistant, but that's got to be it. It's just that balance of how do I do everything?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And how do I give myself grace when I don't, build the world in a day, right? Like sometimes I forget that I have content posting automatically, right? Or just the fact that I did one story or Instagram post, or I crushed it at work today and then I was a good dad. Like I think a lot of people they forget that being a good husband and father is being productive.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yes.
Like that means something.
Mm-hmm.
So and I have to remind myself that a lot. So that's probably it.
I love that. You have anything else to say? The floor is yours, whatever you want to say.
No, I think I love what you're doing with your platform. I think mental health is a big problem in construction. I think there's a lot of reasons why I don't think as men specifically we have strong foundations. The culture's bad. You're told you're supposed to get a DUI and a divorce and a disorder or depression. When you come into the industry, drinking and drug alcohol abuse is 2 to 4 times that of a normal industry. Yep. Sleep habits are very poor. Diet is very poor. Living on energy drinks and Marlboro Reds and fast food, and all of that is a recipe for a short life in a not fulfilling life. So I would say work on building that foundation. You can go check out episode 59 of my podcast, or 57, one or the other.
50
something. It's one of those two. Yeah, it's one of those two. And if you ever need help, if anybody ever needs help, just DM me. I try to get to my DMs as much as I can. You know,
just not TikTok.
Pay to schedule time with me, but yeah. No, I got a software that I consolidated all those inboxes now, so I can answer.
Oh yeah,
them.
That's right. That's right.
But I try to do anything that I can, and just know that you're not alone. A lot of us guys were going through the same stuff, and even if I look one way or I dress, a certain way at work, or you think that I was gifted my place in life. I've been some places and I've done some shit and I've seen some shit. And even if I haven't done or seen some of the things that you're going through, Sometimes it helps just to talk. So,
Yep.
so
And
I'm here.
piggybacking off of that, if anybody wants to just DM me and yap, that's fine too. I will fucking listen. I don't have the solution. I will just listen. So people need to have someone listen eventually, and that's
It's not listen. It's not about having a finish line, right? It's a marathon that doesn't end.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
like the reason that we said that those other things were muscles before is because you don't just develop discipline and then you have it, right? It's something that you always have to work on. So
correct. Yep. Well, thank you so much for coming on. This will drop in a while. I don't know the date yet, but yeah. So thank you.